Hey everybody, I'm Josh.
I'm Jace.
And we're here to watch Nostalgia Critic, The Dark Knight, which may be one of the best Batman movies of all time.
It's definitely the best in this trilogy, I'll say.
Definitely the best in the trilogy. Because, I mean...
I misspoke. Don't give me shit.
I didn't even understand what you said.
Oh, the last time. I said, oh, my favorite is Dark Knight Rises, but my brain defaulted to adding Rises to the end of that. And a lot of people were probably going to give me shit for that. I don't know. You probably haven't even posted our reaction to the first one yet anyway. So.
You know what confuses people? There's Dark Knight Rises. There's an animated movie based on the comic book The Dark Knight Returns. That confuses me.
Is that still Batman?
It's still Batman. It's not. It's animated though. It's not live action. Dark Knight, Heath Ledger. Oh my gosh, this is like one of the best comic book movies of all time, isn't it?
Heath Ledger is honestly just such an iconic Joker.
He's not I want to say he's not exactly like 100% accurate, but still good. Yeah,
I mean, expecting 100% accuracy, that's kind of ridiculous. I mean, in some cases, yeah, you do have 100% accurate representation.
Yeah, he gets...
Like J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson.
He gets the vibe. Also, the makeup is iconic.
It's like war paint.
Oh, yeah. It makes sense because compare that to the comics and the cartoons where he fell into a vat of chemicals and it permanently bleached his skin and drove him crazy.
That just makes sense. That's what... Maybe it's stupid. I'm hesitant to watch The Joker because that's not how he becomes the Joker.
Well, it's just a new adaptation. It doesn't have to be accurate. Plus, The Joker's such a good movie. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix did great. This is the best on-screen Joker. I mean, for live action.
Joker probably carried this movie.
I'm trying to think. The action's definitely better. I remember that's one of the Nostalgia Critic's biggest critiques was the action. Kind of.
We had a little bit of Two-Face.
Yep, in effect, that's pretty good. Sometimes I forget this movie came out in 2012. Actually, no. 2008, I think, right? Dark Knight Rises came out in 2012.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
That long of a time difference between them?
Yeah, I think Batman...
Hey Siri, when did The Dark Knight come out?
Which one? I found 5 movies. The Dark Knight, The Dark Knight Rises, Batman, The Dark Knight Returns Part 1, Batman, The Dark Knight Returns, Part 2, and Batman, The Dark Knight Returns. Which one?
The Dark Knight.
I'm not getting movie information right now. Perhaps you can try again later.
You know what? Whatever. You'll probably even tell us.
It's 2008. So I think Batman Begins came out in 2005. Dark Knight is 2008, and then Dark Knight Rises 2012.
Well, let's jump on in. You know what? When I actually saw The Dark Knight Rises in theaters, I went to the triple feature.
It's too long. Dark Knight Rises is too long.
I went to the triple feature. You should let me finish that thought.
Oh, so you saw all 3 movies?
Yes.
In a series.
It was exciting watching the second one again in theaters.
In a series that totally peaked with the Joker.
Like, if you were to ask someone, who is the Batman's villain? The most common answer would probably be Joker.
Yeah. Sometimes they hold on to that. And, they try to save their nut,
Like, isn't there gonna be... Wasn't there, an end credit scene that had Deathstroke?
That was, Justice League. No Joker, though. And that was in a different universe, not this one. Last episode, they talked about... He sprays Scarecrow with his own fear toxin, and he sees, the kind of, monstrous version of Batman. I'm like, that's cool. But then Nostalgia Critic said, oh, now he's convinced that Batman Beyond needs to come out. I'm like, I don't think that would be the best effect to do that with. The Batman Beyond mask, it has, the mouth, even though it's a mask, the mouth is there, and it's, moving and everything. I feel like if you did it for live action, it would look better if it was, just covered over, you know what I mean?
Like a morph suit.
Like a morph suit. Or... If you, I could kind of see you doing, because the setting of Batman Beyond is such a vibe. I don't know if you could accomplish that in live action. It kind of reminds me of Blade Runner, but you have to. I was thinking, why not go the Spider-Verse route? Do it 2D animated or 3D animated.
Do it.
It would look cool.
Do it.
Yeah. All right, now we can start it. Let's go.
Do something like that. It's going to be, you can still tell the story, but it's also a little bit easier because you don't have to do complicated live action shots that you can just animate.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, animation is also hard work.
Plus, it could be the fight scenes could be more fluid, because you can control everything. And then, this movie's great. I was just watching the scene right before we started recording while you were in the bathroom. I was watching the scene of how about a magic trick? I'm going to make this pencil disappear. Like, the sound design for that scene is so good because when he puts down the pencil, like, he really like just bam in there, and they boost that audio of him slamming it onto the table, even though like everything else is quiet. Just they put like emphasis on it.
Right.
And then
if you have any more scenes to bring up, bring them up as they show up in the Nostalgia Critic.
I just
Can
love.
you do that?
Yeah.
Can you do that? Let's do that. Oh, by the way, remember, Patreon is a thing.
It exists.
Even though this has no bearing on what's going on our Patreon.
But it does help, and we appreciate you. Thank you. All right, let's go.
Let's go.
Let me just see what it looks like if I did this. Too much?
Yeah, I don't like it.
All right.
Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic. I remember, so you don't have to. This is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, what else can you say?
Released in 2008 under a buttload of hype, I'll admit I didn't think this movie was going to be anything that special. I liked Batman Begins, but thought ironically the Batman parts were a little awkward. So with him obviously being more prominent in this one with the Joker who didn't fall into a vat of chemicals, I was already throwing up my hands like a man baby saying this ain't gonna work. But man, did it win me over fast. The acting, the dialogue, the visuals, the intensity, even the action were not just improved on, they were a spectacle. This is what got the mass public saying maybe superhero movies can be more adult than we thought. Every decade or so a comic book movie comes along that does that, and I kinda love it's usually a Batman movie. With that said, like most things declared flawless, I can't quite say this is flawless. There are still a few hiccups when it comes to the story and little things like poor Bale's bat voice.
This city just showed you that it's full of people.
That's a shame.
But it goes without saying, this movie left a big impact not only on comic book flicks, but just cinema in general. It challenged how seriously we took heroes and villains that were seen as entertainment for children and teens, and showed there were strong reasons we should still see them as heroes and villains as adults. I'm pretty excited to look this over again, so let's jump right into it. Let's look at the movie that clearly hasn't gotten enough attention, The Dark Knight.
Do it!
It opens with a robbery at one of the mob banks in Gotham. It should be pointed out part of this movie was shot in IMAX, and if they ever release it again on an IMAX screen, it's definitely worth it. I think most people have pointed out the Joker's mask is from an old Adam West episode, and I do legit love that once you know which one he is, the camera does smartly follow him. Like upon second viewing, you are curious of what his reactions are, even if it's all just body language.
I know why they call him the Joker.
So why do they call him the Joker? I heard he wears makeup. Makeup? Yeah.
Good exposition while the heist is happening.
The scene's pretty awesome. I was shocked to find it's only 5 minutes long. So much happens. I
really?
It was dumb.
Same with
it feels longer.
Same with the mob scene where he's like with the pencils trick. 5 minutes.
Until the last fourth works to its benefit, but we'll get to that in a bit.
You have any idea who you're stealing from?
After taking down a random William Fichtner cameo, we find the Joker manipulated the gangsters to take each other out until he's the only one left to do a badass reveal.
Whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you a stranger.
Did he die and
As
then the
many
movie
have
came
pointed
out?
The plans of the Joker, played by Heath Ledger in his
No.
final role, are very
But
easy to pick
he
apart.
did die
How did he know
before
there'd be a
the,
gap in the buses? How did he know where the choppers
before the
would be for
rewards
the wires? How
for
did
this movie
he
were
know the
given out?
exact location of where to
Like, it did win
stand
a-
so that
he did win
explosion
an
wouldn't
award
kill
for
him?
his performance.
And this is where I just
Post-mortem.
shrug and say,
Yeah.
comic book shit.
Yeah, that's what I couldn't get. That's why I didn't really like
Still a
these
guy
movies,
who
is because I
flies
thought their
around
plans
in
were
a
really
vat
dumb on
battling a
paper.
clown.
They're trying to make
Moving on the
it
technicals,
seem so
because
cool and
comic book
epic.
Movies are supposed to be exaggerated to heighten the effect. So these details really don't bother me. What does bother me is the Scarecrow once again getting the shaft. Despite being in all three movies, he somehow never gets enough time and always comes across as underwhelming.
That sucks.
But not as underwhelming as Batman. Wow, Bale really let himself go. Was he getting an early start for his Cheney role?
Jesus
No,
Christ.
these are other vigilantes who want to help, one of the many elements taken from the comics. But the real
Dark Knight
Batman shows
Returns.
up and, I don't know, it doesn't look that much better. I know I mocked before how silly the suit looks, but in this one, I think it shows the most.
Because he wears it
Come
more.
on, he looks funny. It's not bad all the time, but when they don't know how to shoot him, they really don't know how to shoot him. If I was Gordon, I'd be like, several of these Banks were robbed by a man in clown makeup who's ironically not as funny as "Don't look at me, I'm gonna pee my pants." The costume.
I love the Batman,
great,
Robert Pattinson
look
too.
at him without
Looks
thinking
great.
garage sale cosplay. And how about those vocals?
What's the difference between you and me?
I'm wearing hockey pads.
I am doing my best Patty and Selma voice, though.
Nice.
We're introduced to District Attorney Harvey Dent, played by Aaron Eckhart. And I'm not gonna lie, his intro made me wonder if critics were wrong when I saw this movie.
I see you hostile.
Your Honor, I'm not done.
That's so dumb!
I find you guilty of being a badass mother. Harvey!
I forgot that happened.
Comic book
What
movie
the?
that was uncomfortably
It's
dumb,
so dumb,
but
but yeah, I
back on
forgot.
track pretty fast. As this film just as easily could have been called Gotham City, because a surprisingly good chunk of it is showing people working behind the scenes trying to take down the mob, using clever legal action. And it's legitimately interesting to watch.
In a RICO case, if you can charge one of the conspirators with a felony, you can charge all.
The movie cleverly utilizes the slow burn building up to the Joker and why the mob would turn to him. Bruce even takes a liking to Dent, and it's not all because he's dating his ex Rachel, played this time by Maggie Gyllenhaal.
When their enemies were at the gates, the Romans
Yeah, that woman
democracy
who plays
used
Rachel,
man to protect the city.
her brother is Jake
I know.
Gyllenhaal. Okay,
Oh
you know.
yeah, that's canon.
You either die.
I'm not that much of a movie virgin, dude. Shit.
Painfully poignant, yet poignantly painful. While the mob scrambles to figure out
Here we go.
from Dent, the Joker, fresh off of robbing them, says for half the money he can help them out.
He shows
but not
up
before a magic
like a
trick.
badass.
I'm gonna make this pencil disappear.
Ah!
I've seen this trick before. It's in his eye.
It's simple. We kill the Batman.
I have an army of pencils ready to take him down.
So many pencils.
Preaching to the choir, but Ledger really does dominate every scene he's in.
Hell
So
yeah.
many of these weird voices and tics so easily could have backfired, but it adds to
Like
the
you said, he didn't
believability
sleep
that
for
he's
this role.
Intelligent, yet clearly crazy. Anytime he puts his life on the line, I totally believe he'd be okay with dying because he'd be doing what he loves, and he'd probably see it as funny in the end. Speaking of which, the dude is funny.
You think you could steal from us and just walk away?
Yeah.
That clever line, yet he made it hilarious. Speaking of hilarious, this is another scene where the Batman costume just cracks me up. Harvey calls him with the bat signal, and he just stands there while Harvey and Gordon talk.
You're sitting down there with scum like Wirtz and Ramirez.
Is that a wax figure?
It is.
This makes me laugh.
He's just standing
He's like a kid waiting for mom and dad to look at his drawing.
I drew a picture of a rainbow.
It's all black. Green Lantern thought it looked pretty. Meanwhile, we see one of the mobsters, played by Michael J. White, just does not have the best luck with clowns.
You wanna know how I got these scars?
Oh god, not another Joker impression.
Mommy gets the kitchen knife to defend herself. He doesn't like that.
The Joker changes his backstory constantly, once again a clever holdover from the comic. But I think what makes them especially creepy is he tells them like they really happened. Any of these could have been the actual story, and you would believe it because he's so dedicated to convincing his victims it's real. He probably would slip in the real story just for his own personal laugh.
She can't stand the sight of me. She leaves.
Well, it's because of the cuts. He's constantly licking his lips.
Yeah.
I'll also say, while the music in Batman movies is usually great, the Joker's theme takes it to a whole new level.
What's his theme
In
again?
my opinion, a good third of what makes him scary is that disturbing drone that half the time sounds like a broken hairdryer. But Jesus, it's a scary-ass broken hairdryer.
Oh, just did that noise? Yeah.
That drone.
It sounds like a little drone, yeah.
Meanwhile, Bruce flies to Hong Kong to try and get the mob boss who is holding all the mafia's money. They use sonar technology to nab him, leading to a line that's honestly too smart for its own good.
Sonar. Just like a
submarine, Mr. Wayne. Like a submarine.
I have no joke. I think people just miss how obnoxiously clever that is.
Sure.
Batman breaks into the mobster's building and uses what's like a submarine for the air, or a flying animal like a pigeon. Well, that could have gone better. He's dropped off to the cops, where he tries to make a deal with Rachel, Harvey, and Gordon. Wait a minute, isn't this supposed to be a Joker story? There we go.
Be aware, the image is disturbing.
Oh my god, I died? One of the bad imposters is murdered, and the Joker will continue to
Oh, I
kill
thought that was
every
like
day
a
until Batman
dummy.
reveals himself. I don't care if it turns into a found footage movie. This is the creepiest scene in the flick.
Look at me.
Look at me!
While rehearsing, Kane admitted he forgot his lines because he was so scared shitless of Heath's performance.
Ooh.
I'm a man of my word.
Lines, schmines, I'm forgetting I have bladder control right now. Joker kills off a lot of big names upholding the law, naturally in a comedic way.
Get in, open it, it'll tell you where you're headed.
Up.
Oh, I get. And he tries to kill Harvey Dent as well, but Batman is there to stop him.
Let her go.
Very poor choice of words.
Damn it, I should have said, please throw her off the building so I can save her and she'd date me. That would have been more specific.
Yeah, they just crash into the car.
I should not have survived, but again, comic book movie. And Bruce tries to figure out more who this Joker, supposedly working for the mob, is.
You hammered them to the point of desperation. And in their desperation, they turned to a man they didn't fully understand.
Isn't that the intro to, like, every Trump book now? 2 more people end up dead, and the Joker puts an obituary for the mayor in the paper. That somehow nobody stopped. Where was the editor that day? And one of Wayne's employees notices something
this fucking
odd while doing
this fucking guy.
What are you building for him now? Rocket ship. I want
a rocket ship.
$10 million.
Fox tells the guy nobody would believe him, and he believes him. Yeah, it's a little odd, but I guess I can buy it. And at the commissioner's funeral, everyone is seeing if the Joker will follow through with killing the mayor.
Commissioner Loeb dedicated his life.
Oh, so he's still not. Gordon's not the commissioner yet.
Of his community.
Oh, this has all been a misunderstanding. It's not Batman he was after.
He gets
Batman
he becomes commissioner after he gets murdered.
The Joker does get his shot, but it's not for the mayor. It's for Gordon. His family sadly has to be told the bad news.
You brought this craziness on us. You did. You brought this on us.
At least I don't wear hockey pads.
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Batman goes to a nightclub to confront one of the mobsters working with the Joker.
I don't remember this scene.
Why is nobody doing the Bat 2C? Meanwhile, Harvey, kinda playing to the split personality.
There you go.
But
There he is, Dave.
Threatens one of the Joker's men using a trick
Polka dot
coin,
man.
saying he has a 50-50 chance of living.
You're the symbol of hope. I could never be. If anyone saw this, everything would be undone.
A man in a bat suit talking in a silly voice is saying, "You're acting crazy!" Batman says he'll turn himself in to stop the bloodshed, but not before hitting on Rachel one more time.
You know that day that you once told me about when Gotham would no longer need Batman?
You can't ask me to wait for that.
It's happening now.
I'll just say it, Bruce's simp romance with her is kind of pathetic. She's seeing someone else, she seems happy, he's now going to prison, yet he constantly makes a play that maybe they can work out.
You once told me that if the day came when I was finished, that we'd be together.
Bruce, don't make me your one hope for a normal life.
Did you mean it?
Did you mean it when you said you marry me when we grow up? This is kind of embarrassing.
Simp.
That's the idea, like despite all his brilliant badassness, this is the one area where he's kind of a desperate dork. But with so much else going on in these movies, their chemistry has never been that strong.
If you turn yourself in, they're not gonna let us be together.
I need someone more mentally sound, like a guy who would kill a man literally on the turn of a dime. In a surprise twist, though, Harvey tells everyone that he's Batman.
I am the Batman.
Hell yeah.
I really love that Nolan realizes the trick to get a good Two-Face is to get Harvey down. He knows in order to make the transformation more painful, he needs to be relatable. And a lot of time is dedicated to him being portrayed as heroic and likable, and not to a fake degree. For the most part.
Your Honor, I'm not done.
Just stop reminding me that clip's in this movie. The Joker rigs it where they have to take the lower route.
Lower fifth will be like turkeys on Thanksgiving down there.
Which they clearly don't. There's tons of ways around this.
Shit.
And the Joker chases them, trying to blow open the truck.
This thing's built for that, right?
He's gonna need something a lot bigger to get through this.
I heard that.
He's got something bigger.
But Batman shows up, and where I really bashed the action in the first film, I can say not only is it a lot better in this one, but it has one of my favorite action sequences of all time. This chase is so well laid out, keeps the adrenaline
I love it when it turns
high,
into the
and
little bike.
brilliantly has no music, so you can focus only on what you're seeing.
I never realized that it didn't have any music.
It's like when Dumbledore fights Voldemort.
There's not even much dialogue.
In the fifth movie.
Language of the scene is practically nothing but crashes and explosions.
Exactly. No music. Yeah.
It's also edited much better. In the last one, everything was so shaky and cut around too quick. Here, you can make out everything and really feel like you're riding alongside them. When Batman crashes through a window, it doesn't just cut randomly to somewhere else. You actually get to follow him through the window this time. You get to experience what he's experiencing. Look at the clowns firing at them. It's like you're in a live-action video game. To a point where every time I drive a lower whacker, I can't help but get a little bit of an adrenaline rush because I always think of this scene. On top of that, almost all of it is really there.
Yes.
Yes, there was some model work and a few moments of CG, but
Yeah,
they were
fair.
used only when they had to be. They went the extra mile and actually had all these cars blowing up or crashing. You simply feel more immersed
practical
when you know what you're
explosions,
looking
dude.
at is really there.
Oh, you want to play? Come on.
It all builds up to a topper that everybody saw in the trailer, but you got so wrapped up, you forgot it was coming. And everybody roared in the theater when it finally happened.
With the truck flip? People roared in the theater for that? I mean, it's just a truck flip.
Shit Gotham has ever had,
Oh,
with Batman charging towards the Joker.
It's a cool scene.
This leads to, I'll completely admit, a surprise that shocked the hell out of me.
We got you, you son of a bitch.
Again, the crowd went nuts here. I think it shows a movie is really working when there isn't a character you're not rooting for. It's kind of like the Coyote and Roadrunner, because everything with me is for some reason. It doesn't matter if they're good or bad. If they're passionate and interesting, you do want them to succeed in one way or another. Things go south, though, when both Harvey and Rachel disappear. Thus, the Joker and Batman finally have a sit-down. This is basically a Funhouse mirror version of Heat, but who gives a shit? It's great.
I'll show you. When the chips are down, these civilized people, they'll eat each other.
Joker says he's trying to make a point as an agent of chaos, which is a little contradictory. If you're an agent of chaos, you shouldn't have a point. But he does go back and forth between proving something and just spreading.
Oh,
it.
this scene is
I think it
insane
kind of
when he
acquits
burns
itself.
the money.
Don't worry, I'm gonna tell you where they are.
It's like shows you just how
He tells
much
them where Harvey and Rachel are as they're both in
chaos he
separate
wants.
buildings about to be blown up. Batman goes to save Rachel, but discovers the Joker switched the addresses.
I'm surprised Nostalgia
Okay,
Critic didn't
so
say anything about the money
even when this
version
movie
scene.
came out, the trope of killing the love interest was already kind of played, but not so often in comic book movies. I guess you could argue Lois Lane, but she comes right back, so I don't think it really counts.
Nope.
In my opinion, this does what Spider-Man didn't have the balls to do, and Amazing Spider-Man 2 was late to the party. My only problem, he doesn't mourn her that much. Yeah, we get him looking over the wreckage and sulking in his room a bit, but Alfred's like, you can take it, and it's never brought up again by him.
Didn't you think there might be some casualties? Things were always going to get worse before they got better.
Honestly, Harvey takes it a
Michael
lot
Caine.
harder, which makes sense as this, mixed with the fact that his face got blown off, drives him insane. And this might be an unpopular opinion, but I think maybe the movie should have ended here. This is the emotional height of the film. The Joker escapes. Harvey is scarred. We're at an hour 40 minutes, a perfect running time. Imagine if it just stopped like this.
My God.
That would have been goddamn chilling.
Oh my God.
Seeing how they build up another one at the end anyway, I feel like this could have worked. But instead, we have 50 minutes left, and honestly, what's in this 50 minutes could have filled a whole other film. I guess because they wanted to squeeze in so much, it's condensed in the final third. But like I said before, it is condensed well. Not only is half of Harvey's face scarred, and a pretty great effect that still holds up, but his double-sided coin is too. I love this because it represents how now he can't play tricks, he can't make his own luck. It worked for a while, but it cost him dearly, and now he's spun into the opposite.
Because it was a double-headed
where
coin.
Everything is one way or another, brought on by chance.
I told you, I'm a man of my word.
Oh, here we go.
I just Scrooge McDucked myself. As you'd expect, though, he sets the money ablaze and calls in on a talk show with the employee from earlier saying he's gonna reveal who Batman is. Joker says he likes the mystery now, and if the guy isn't dead in an hour, he'll blow up a hospital. Yeah, like I said, they tried to squeeze in a lot in this last third.
Yeah, random people try to kill him.
And trying to kill this guy. Bruce does manage to save him, but make it look like it was an accident.
Hell yeah.
Very brave thing you did.
Trying to catch the light?
Hey, thanks, Batman. I guess I ruined that.
I wish. I want something like that to happen. Like, thanks.
Easily the funniest costume in the movie.
Hi.
And yes, this was a popular cosplay for a while. He convinces Harvey that he's just a mad dog and he should take vengeance out on those who let him off his leash. This begins Harvey's coin flipping, and I do like he puts the Joker in his trial of chance too. It really does make sense a villain based on chaos and a villain based on chance would fit well in the same movie.
You live. You die. Now we're talking.
Of course, he gets lucky, Harvey escapes, and the Joker blows up the hospital that again really was demolished and looks amazing. There is a rumor that the explosions accidentally stopped and Ledger improvised the scene of him hitting the detonator until they went off again. But look at the camera work, look at the staging, look at how many explosions there are. That's not how this works. Nolan even said they purposefully had it stop so they could set the demolition part up while keeping Ledger safe. Even if the rumor isn't true, though, it's still a spectacular moment.
That's hilarious. He's just like,
another climax.
What the hell?
Honestly, the whole
Such a
thing
great
is
moment.
one
He's just
long
walking.
climax, where after the Joker kidnaps Anthony Michael Hall.
If you don't want to be in the game, get out now.
Random. He puts a bomb on two fairies who must make a choice which boat will blow up. And if they don't choose in an hour, they'll both blow up.
And you might want to decide quickly because the people on the other boat may not be quite so noble.
First off, this kind of feels like a two-faced plan, like you're forced to choose one or the other.
Yeah.
Second, this is where the movie stops being great and instead just becomes good. We're introduced to this idea of Batman using everyone's cell phones to track everything. This alone could be an interesting movie instead of just the last half hour.
This is wrong.
I've got to find this man, Lucius.
I'm also going to take a wild guess and say this is a commentary on the George W. Bush administration. Harvey starts killing the people who wronged him in ways I still don't fully understand.
Your driver.
Straight with the driver.
Did he get out of the car or what? What happened there? The people on the ferry are debating what to do like it's a Saw movie. The hostages are switched with the henchmen.
I love how
there
was that one prisoner who's trying to be like,
even
just
though
give me
it's
the
all
remote,
done
give me the
well
detonator,
after the
goddammit.
hospital bit,
And he just
I'm
instantly
kinda
throws it out the
done.
window.
This would have been a great climax in another Dark Knight movie, but they squeezed it all in here, and that's what it feels like. It feels like it's squeezed in. The little leeway I'll give it is that it is like what the previous film said. It is about escalation. The chaos never stops. It's relentless. Everything seems spinning out of control and crumbling with Batman trying to pick up the pieces. That is essentially the Joker. I just think there were better ways to do it than to just add an Act 4. But it is still very intense and keeps your interest, as after neither fairy blows the other up and Batman stops the Joker from detonating them both, the Joker reveals how destroying Harvey was his ace in the hole.
All it takes is a little push.
Just sucks that there's no reference to him at all in the third one. I mean, I get you can't have him there because he died,
I was
but
saying to myself, did they make the Joker fly in this? Even though the Joker's arrested, Harvey kidnaps Gordon's family and gives them the same coin toss as the others.
They're not going to hurt my family.
Just the person you love most. Is it your wife?
It can't be your daughter. We haven't decided if she's going to be Batgirl in the future or not. We're definitely going to screw up Robin, but we have to hold out on this one.
You don't want to hurt the boy, Harvey.
Your mother's in here with us, Karis. Would you like to leave a message?
Batman arrives, and through a violent tussle, Harvey falls to his death. To save his reputation, Batman tells Gordon that the story has to be that he killed Harvey's victims.
I killed those people.
You're not.
I'm whatever Gotham needs me to be.
There is an irony that they're saying spying on people is wrong, but lying about who killed someone is fine. But you get the idea of the lesson. He's taking a hit for Gotham. It's about endurance, it's about sacrifice, it's about making people even more freaked out about fake news. Okay, this didn't age that great, but still counts.
A watchful protector. A dark knight.
And that was The Dark Knight. Despite its few problems, I still think it's fantastic.
Yep.
This really did change how serious people took superhero movies. It hit just the right notes at just the right time. The lines are so quotable, the dilemma's so intriguing, the character's so memorable. For a while, this Joker became an icon of, shall we say, meaningful madness. Despite being a villain, he reflected a sort of anti-authoritative chaos that struck a chord at that point in time, the same way Phoenix would in his own way at a different point in time. Well, okay, I can't say it's perfection. The amazing moments overshadow all of the flaws, and gave you an amazing experience that changed the cinematic landscape of this genre. It's still one of my all-time favorites, and I know I'm not alone. If you haven't watched it in a while, pop it in again and watch one of the greatest comic book movies
walk
ever
with his
made.
arms out.
Gotta watch this.
I'm a nostalgia critic guy, remember it? So you don't have to.
Damn, I gotta cosplay as the Joker now.
You don't want to hurt the boy, Harvey.
That's mine. Mine. Anything for you to point out that he didn't mention?
Not particularly, no. I mean, it's a good movie. It's just a good movie.
I'm surprised that we didn't really hear much about the prisoner throwing out the detonator and how the Joker burning up his half the money solidifies
He said
his
that.
position. Did he?
He brought it up, yeah. He's like,
Okay,
he's just like,
kind of seems like a once over. Like
he did kind of once over. He was just like,
it was quick.
He's like, of course he burnt the money.
But like, it's just how strongly that solidifies the Joker's character as an anarchist. It's insane to me.
This is one of the few movies that gets the two villains thing right, because it's all about developing Harvey Dent. Meanwhile, we don't really need to develop anything about the Joker because we don't really need to know anything about him. We just need to know what he's about. You get that across fairly fast. That and the performance that holds it up. You don't really need anything else.
Origin stories are kind of a weird thing. Like sometimes, like and you mentioned that, and it's like, wait, I'm not even sure I've ever really seen the origin story of the Joker. Like, what, he falls into a vat of chemicals
You don't
that fucks
need
up
to-
his brain?
You don't need to know.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't need to know. That's why that's why there's the running joke of him changing his origin story. The thing, I think the rough part about the costume is just trying to get the jaw right. Because anybody's this is Batman, like the jaw, like the that area down, the mouth and jaw and the chin. Robert Pattinson's got a good jaw. I think his costume works out best. He doesn't look completely stupid. With like but with Christian Bale's Batman costume, it's like the whole like one piece leather like cowl. And it's got like the grooves in it, you know. It looks a little silly.
Great movie. I gotta watch it again.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Which okay, while we're on the topic of movies, this is not related to Batman in any way. I can't believe that we had a 2-year pandemic. And at no point did drive-in movie theaters make a comeback.
I think they did in certain areas, not
Oh,
all.
in certain areas,
but
not here,
not where we are.
The closest one, I think, to us.
Well, it was Auburn, but I think it closed down.
That one was closed down, but still didn't reopen.
Well, I know, but like, no, it closed before the pandemic. Like, it just went out of business.
It might be a business opportunity. Anyways,
the good movie.
Maybe you should take me to go see the Batman.
The Batman. I'm not gonna go see that movie again. I like the movie and all, but it's a 3-hour-long movie. I'm like, fuck. If I go watch that movie, I'm gonna fall asleep. I don't care how much. There's a lot of punching.
Hope you guys enjoyed the reaction. Remember, Patreon is a thing.
It exists.
I'm Jace.
I'm Josh.
And we'll see you guys in the next one. Oh, God. Dark Knight Rises.
This is a bomb, and I'm going to blow up Gotham. The identity of the Checkerman is a mystery.
Okay, when he talks about Bane, I want him to pull up like a clip of the Harley Quinn show, because in that, the Bane, like the look is based on like the animated series / like comics / video games. It's like it doesn't look like Tom Hardy, but the voice is very much like talking about somebody who's like that's bad. I'm gonna take away your company credit card. He's like
I will take away your credit card.
He's like try to cut it in half. He's like,
these scissors are not working.
I will bend it.
See you guys.